prices.
The goal is excellence. Those that are willing to meet the challenge are rare. But at Illinois State University, the commitment to excellence is strong, whether it's on the court or in the classroom. And the Redbird Club is helping to meet that goal. The Redbird Club is committed to helping athletes excel in their game and in their studies. But we need your help. Whether you're an alumni or simply a Redbird fan, join the Redbird Club and be committed to excellence. Become a member and meet the challenge today.
Illinois State beat Southern Illinois 102-98, and it took an overtime to do it. One of the best basketball games I've seen in quite some time. Very exciting and fairly well played on both sides. Let's take a look at the highlights of the first half, and then Coach and I will come back and talk about the second half as we continue to watch the highlights.
Nürnberger with a three-pointer. It is 5-2, just like that. Southern Illinois on top. Jackson to Coleman. Now Jackson, tap point, three-point jumper, good. On what constitutes dribble and what doesn't. That's Coleman's jumper is good. Jackson with it. To Harris. Now by Middleton. Pulls up short, shoots and scores. Harris with the basketball. Driving underneath, fakes. Back outside, Taphorn swings it to Jackson. Three-point jump shot. Good! Coleman on the inbounds pass will let Peterson bring it up. Across the timeline, looking inside. He goes to Holifield, scoots inside and stuffs it!
He looked just a touch slow coming down the floor, too.
He did. Inside to Holifield! Inbounds pass to Nürnberger. Doesn't get the roll. Holifield rebounds. Well, I think somebody woke up Tony Holifield on the boards today. Coleman. They had Holifield on the other side. Find him, shoots and scores. Blair to Holifield. Bank shot. Doesn't go. Tipped up and scores. There's Coleman. Coleman with 9. He fakes the shot. Out of Mahan. Taken away by Jackson and saved inbounds. What a play. Boy, he has been a ton and a half on defense. Now to Peterson. Redbirds looking to score. Jackson, three-point range, good! What a ball game!
And the game pretty well went that way for the whole entire game. It went seesaw back and forth. And I mentioned before, one of the best basketball games I've seen in quite some time. I thought we played fairly well.
Al, we've held them scoreless. They haven't got a bucket from you and I sitting here watching the doggone thing. Somehow, somebody cheated us and they ended up with 98 points, but I haven't seen any of it as we've said here. Seriously, it was a heck of a college basketball game. It was a game when going into it that I really felt we had to score. Now, I don't mean 102, but I felt that we would have to score in order to beat them because I think it's an outstanding or a very prolific offensive team with a variety of ways to score. And Middleton, I think, is one of the premier players in our league. And Nürnberger is certainly an outstanding player and that can score in so many doggone ways. And then Shipley, I think, is going to be a very fine player as time goes on. House is a very competitive youngster that just fights you tooth and nail. But it was a game that went back and forth, back and forth. Nobody really had an advantage. And I thought it was going to boil down to probably who took the last shot. Now, it didn't boil down to that because they missed the last couple of opportunities. But they, like some of the other teams that we've been playing, hurt us on the boards and got some buckets off their boards.
17 seconds left on this inbounds pass. And this will go down in the history as one of the most controversial 17 seconds in the game. Now, I want you to watch. This is the three-pointer that ties it up and sends it in overtime. Right now, right there, I'm calling the game over. Now, we're going to show this two more times. Now, Shipley is number 40 on Southern Illinois inside. Coleman is number 52 guarding him. Watch the fans and watch Shipley's reaction. right when that pass is thrown, when I'm saying the game is over. The clock has not only gone to 0, but I've analyzed this for 45 minutes this morning, another hour. Now watch Shipley and Coleman, right there. They looked down the court, the fans stood up and cheered, and that's when they thought the game was over. And again, that's when I thought the game was over, and I could hear the buzzer starting to sound right at that point when I readjusted some frequencies in the studio here. Just a controversial call.
It was without question a controversial call, and the problem was that you don't have the officials who then go over to the scorer's bench and they have to ask, because you couldn't hear yourself in the arena at that time. The crowd was great, and they have to ask the official timer, who happened to be Bert Mercier, a man with impeccable credibility, and say, where was the ball when the buzzer sounded? And as Bert told me later on, the ball was in the shooter's hands. Well, but they didn't ask him that. They came over and said, has the buzzer gone off yet? Well, I don't know why you would ask that question. I mean, they should have put the ball down out of bounds and started counting. And see, they had no idea what was going on, and I think it was simply a power play. I'm going to make this decision. Whether you have better input or better insight or a better knowledge of what is accurate is neither here nor there. I'm going to make that decision. And they actually told Bert that with about 5 minutes to go. They said, you will not make the decision, we will. But that's fine. Bert isn't going to make the decision. But if you don't have the necessary information, then you need to go to the best source. And the best source was the official timer.
Did not know that until just now. Didn't know that. I knew the part about they said they were going to make the decision. I didn't know that they never really heard the buzzer go off, or they weren't sure.
There's absolutely no way you could hear the buzzer. The place was just entirely too loud. Bert sitting there right at the scorer's bench is one of the very few people in the arena that's in a position to say it went off or it didn't go off.
In the final analysis, we still came up with a win, and I thought we played fairly well in overtime as well, and it was a gutsy performance.
It really was a gutsy performance, and it was a difficult performance. We have a couple chances to put the game away. We aren't able to do so. You know, they keep coming back on us. We have a 5-point lead. Now it ends up with that 3-point shot. We get the lead again in overtime, and they whittle it down, and it really isn't until at the very, very end that we're able to put it away. But both teams made a heck of a lot of good plays for their team and tried to put their team in a position where they could win.
Well, since the last time we met, Illinois State won 2 Valley games without losing any. Currently on top, tied for the Valley lead at 4 wins, 1 losses. Next up is our player profile, and the subject today is Tony Holifield. Back in just a minute.
When I first came here, I didn't expect to work as hard. I expected just to come into a program where it was sort of like my high school program, sort of loose, not too loose, but not as restrictive as it is here. I don't have any regrets of my choice. I'm glad I did come here because it gave me an opportunity to learn how to work hard and appreciate everybody around you, and that everybody's equal in this program. Yes, it was very important to me and to my family, especially my mother, coming from a family that nobody has ever went to college and graduated. I think that would be a great opportunity for me to have a chance to do this not only for myself but for my whole family. Yeah, especially at 6'6", playing in the post, the low post, down low with playing against especially players at 6'9" and 6'10". I had to pick up some strength because I wasn't growing anymore, so I figured I had to bulk up a little bit to hold my own down low. I think where I fake and dip under is my favorite move. Like I said, being at 6'6" and playing down low, you have to come up with some unique skills to get the ball at the bucket. I've had my shot blocked many a times, but I try not to let that bother me. I try to use different kind of moves, down low, fakes, get the man off balance, get him leaning so I can get an angle on the person. And I don't know how I do it. I just do it. I think it's just a unique skill that I have, and that's what I do best when I play. I think the problem is the positioning. I mean, because you have some good rebounders who can't jump at all. I think it's just really getting positioning and want to go after the ball. Sometimes I tend to stand around, and Cliff tends to move more than I do and get better position. I don't think it's the jumping ability. I think it's the positioning on the person. From different teams since I've been here, especially my freshman year, we had a strong team, and what I mean by that is that we had strong players down low, and they won games by just beating the other team up physically. And I think this team doesn't do that. I think this team has to find ways to beat people. We don't have anybody at this point now who can just beat other teams up inside. We have players who are quick, who have to use their cleverness to get the ball at the bucket. It's an overall team that has to look for certain individuals who do things that they can do well on the court, and everybody has to blend together to do well. Well, at the time, the baseline was open, so I just took one strong dribble and said, you know, I'm gonna dunk it, and that's all I said. From the angle I had, I didn't think I was going to make it, but once my mind was made up, I had to do it. I mean, I couldn't change my shot. I thought I got fouled on the play, and I was looking for a three-point play, but at the time, I really didn't think about it. I had dunk on my mind, so that's what I did. My quickness is sort of deceptive. Some people don't think I'm quick, but I think I have a quick first step, and that throws a lot of people off. They think that I can't move as well, especially if I'm playing down low, but they have to remember I'm only 6'6", and I still possess some quickness, and I think my quickness is deceptive for people. Right now, I've learned how to get out in the passing lanes better and come up with some steals, and I credit that to just knowing that I can get out there and get some steals. I don't think many people know that I'm leading our team in steals, but I know that, and I'm going to try to continue to lead our team in steals. I think I can, like I said, because my quickness is deceptive, and the other teams don't realize that, and they don't realize that I can come up with some of those. As far as going after school and going into the workforce, I plan to get my degree in economics and hopefully maybe go into insurance or stockbroking or something like that. As far as basketball is concerned, I still have some ambitions for basketball, and you know, who knows, NBA, CBA, or overseas somewhere. You know, if I ever get lucky and have an opportunity that someone wants to pick me up and give me a shot, you know, that's what I'm looking forward to most of all.
We are going to remember is muff, dribble, muff, as opposed to dribble, muff, dribble. Now, you can muff the ball. In other words, if you were to throw me a pass and I muffed it, I can go over, I can pick it up, and I can dribble. And as I go to end my dribble, if I muff it away, I can still go pick it up, but I can't dribble again. A lot of times you'll see players that will be dribbling and suddenly they muff it somehow, and they'll try to ward off the defensive man until an offensive man can get there and pick it up for them because they're afraid they can't touch the ball. It's going to be double dribble. That's not the case. They can reach down and pick it up. You can dribble and muff, but you can't dribble, muff, and dribble. And that is really a big situation a lot of people don't know.
New rule this year about dribbling off of your leg.
Yes, it's a real point of emphasis, and it's kind of scary for the officials. It's on the high school level also, as well as the NCAA. If a player's dribbling down the floor, anywhere on the floor, as far as that goes, and let's say that it goes off of his leg, and it can roll 5 feet away from him, he can go over, and if he can maintain his dribble and start it right back up again, you have nothing. It used to be that if in the judgment of the official he lost control of the ball and went over there, all he could do would be to pick it up. He couldn't start dribbling again. And other words, you had double dribble because he had lost control. Now they're saying that he still hasn't lost control. He can go over, he can pick it up. He can't dribble again because then dribble. But he can resume the dribble and he's okay. The other two things about that is that while that ball is rolling loose 5 feet away from you, you can still have a player control foul. Even though the ball is rolling loose, it's still considered to be in that player's possession. The second thing about it is that ball can be rolling and be a foot from going out of bounds, and the offensive team can still call timeout. That's a hairy one.
In the Missouri Valley Conference, the Redbirds had 2 wins in a row. We saw the Southern Illinois highlight wins. Also a win over Indiana State University. The Sycamores came in here, I thought played fairly well against us, and we did definitely have to struggle against them.
You work backwards.
Yes, I do. I like to show the real fun ones first.
Oh, I see. Okay. Indiana State did play well. I said coming into the ball game, if you remember correctly, that it's a much better basketball team than what its record indicates. And Eddie Bird is going to be a very good basketball player in his own right. Now, we have to understand that he set out last year, and he's also about 20 or 21 years of age, so he isn't a youngster. Right. But he's going to be 24, 25 years of age by the time he graduates from college. But the youngster does have a lot of those instinctive things about him, and he made some very, very fine plays. And then, of course, they've just got a collection of very good athletes, and they fight you, and they fight you hard. They can score, and they can score again, both inside as well as on the perimeter. And, of course, that young man had a heck of a basketball game.
I was going to bring that up. Well, obviously his best scoring effort to date, but I thought he did a lot of different things well in that game. Sonny Roberts we're talking about.
Yeah, as Sonny did score, and he made some critical or key baskets for us. But he got on the board, he fought inside defensively, and he put a lot of things together. Now, he hasn't had a game since then that was that productive. He's had moments, and he's still in the process, I think, of trying to find himself and put it all together. And that's not an easy process. You know, your role slowly but surely solidifies, and you have to have your opportunities. Right now, with Cliff being a little bit hobbled with that doggone ankle, it's given him a little bit more time. It's given Johnny a little bit more time. And those kids have got to continue to produce for us if we're going to have a chance to be competitive, not only throughout the remainder of the season, but especially while Cliff is not 100%.
Now, this is the Indiana State game. You ended up going up to Chicago playing Loyola and lost that game to Loyola, 86-80. On and off a game for us up there. I thought Loyola played well on the boards, but I thought if we had played better, it was definitely a game we could have won.
Oh, without question. I thought it was a winnable contest. I thought the two teams were fairly comparable, except that Haywood just destroyed us. You're right. They got 30 offensive rebounds. I've just never been in a game where a team of mine either got 30 or gave up 30. Wow. And in the final analysis, it just killed us.
So that broke the Illinois winning streak, but it was a non-conference loss against Loyola Ramblers. Next up is our section where we let you ask Coach a question. Back in just a minute.
The goal is excellence. Those that are willing to meet the challenge are rare. But at Illinois State University, the commitment to excellence is strong, whether it's on the court or in the classroom. And the Redbird Club is helping to meet that goal. The Redbird Club is committed to helping athletes excel in their games and in their studies. But we need your help. Whether you're an alumni or simply a Redbird fan, join the Redbird Club and be committed to excellence. Become a member and meet the
At Indiana, a Sports Vision viewer, Roger Ellis asks, he says, first of all, his question in regards to the ISU inbound strategy against the press. And we've talked about how ISU is pressed quite a bit this year. The question, I have noticed over the last couple of years ISU struggles inbounding the ball, particularly against quick athletic teams. Can you explain the inbounds plays that you run against the press and comments as to why ISU has the problems?
Well, I think one of the most difficult things, period, Al, can be getting the ball inbounds. I don't think that's necessarily an easy process. I don't think we're necessarily having more problems this year than we've had in the past. We've even been able to shut teams out, especially on out-of-bounds situations underneath the bucket or the side, where we've been able to come up with 5-second calls. And basically what we're trying to do is screen and cut and get somebody open very quickly and then try to react to switching, which a lot of teams do. If you're going against a superior athletic team that has greater quickness than you, you're at a disadvantage. But you're at a disadvantage in rebounding and driving line and so on and so forth. But a lot of times it just kind of surfaces there, and they're able to exploit you there. Tulsa did a heck of a job of creating serious problems for us in their pressing situation. And, of course, as we go now out to Tulsa, I'm sure that that'll be one of the areas that they'll try to emphasize.
Okay, if you have any questions for Coach, feel free to drop us a line, and our address is 1202 West Division, and write to the Bob Donewald Show, care of Telecable of Bloomington Normal, 1202 West Division, Normal, Illinois, and the zip code is 61761. And if you do write and we use your question on the air, you will win this Converse bag from Converse, and it's the same kind of bag that the ISU basketball team uses.
Well, you're learning. Nice going.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, good.
Again, drop us a line, and we'll use your question in the air, and if we do so, we'll give you that Converse bag. That's our Donewald Show for today for Illinois State University. I'm Al Shepston saying thanks for watching. Enjoyed having you with us.